Hello, it's Mr. Ed here, broadcasting live from the studios in downtown St. Joseph, Abbey, here at Abbee Honey's office. That's right, here in the office that the monks give me to to use as I so desire. And man, you know what? This is like the first time that, and I can understand it. I've, I really didn't give you very much notice of me going live, but there wasn't anybody waiting. Usually, there's at least two people waiting, but so far there was nobody out there watching. So, in a sense, I'm just talking to just the microphone here. So, what am I going to be talking about today? Hopefully, some of you all will come on and ask some questions that I can answer because I'm looking at my screen right now trying to see. Oh, there you go, my first one, Wildwood Honeybees Farms, and I I know who you are, and I just can't remember your name. I know you're in Alabama, and you're about 15 years old. I just can't remember your name. Richard Garday, good morning. Tracy Woobling's Bees from Kentucky, good morning. John J, good morning to you. And thank you, John. Marilyn Robertson, one of the members who was gifted last month. Good morning, Sherry. Hey, how was your trip down in Florida? Look at that, Jared, my man down in Houma. Jared bought some bees from us a little while ago, and I know they're doing really good over there. Jerry, how them bees doing? Els Pasovit, good morning. Joey, bag of donuts. Sean, good morning. Where are you this morning? Sean, where are you? You're on the road, I'm sure. So every once in a while, Sean passes through this area of Louisiana, South Louisiana. And I'm supposed to hook up with him one day, but it still hasn't happened. Craig Daunter, good morning from Lacombe. Yeah, it's hot. Doggone it, it's hot. All right, and Joe and Sean, you're in Alabama. Good. Philip Fisher, good morning. Another member. Thank you very much. Manuka Beekeeping from New Zealand. Man, that was a great story you had about your beekeeper friend, how you went and pulled that excluder, because you did what I would have done. So I think you did great. The Beehive Homestead and pulling our honey. Hey, what's the temperature over there right now? Jared says they're doing great. I already bought a second hive from a you bought a second hive from a local guy. Oh, you definitely want to get into this beekeeping stuff. Kirby 90210. I didn't know Mr. Ed does live. How did I miss that? Well, it's not often. I try to do it at least once a month. And so I've got a lot of stuff going on the rest of the month. So this Saturday was open. So I said, well, let's just do it this Saturday. So I did it. Hot here in Covington, Georgia. Ooh, it's hot everywhere here in the South. Frankie Woobling, beekeeping from Owenton, Kentucky. Thank you, Frankie. Ravens and flies from Slidell. I have two deeps and a super on top. I'd like to know how to split or harvest. Well, I don't ever do splits at this time of the year. It's just too dangerous, hive beetles. But if you could definitely harvest your honey if you've got extra stuff in there, because I'm glad I finished doing mine though. It's way too hot. Elias Trome from Lebanon, Middle East. Wow, thank you for joining me this morning, Elias. Jeff Dollar from Pennsylvania. Hey, what's the temperature up there right now, Jeff? Hello to the deli. We are in Virginia and it's 85 right now, but high of 93. I think right now outside, right now, and it's 9 o'clock. I bet it's hitting on 90 degrees right now out there. Oh, it's nasty. Look at that, Don Bearden. Good morning, buddy. Wow, great to have you with us, Don. -4 Celsius, 24 Fahrenheit. Look, that's in New Zealand now. It's 24 degrees in New Zealand. In fact, it was snowing last week. My goodness, I could get some of that cool weather here because I certainly would like it. Well, thank you all very, very much for joining me. And when I first started, golly, there was nobody, and it's like I'd never seen that before. So I'm happy that you all have taken the time this morning to drop on by and chat for a while. So Jared says it's 91 degrees down in Houma. Woof. Brian Corner, Central Ontario just got to 80. Oh my gosh, cold all the way, hot all the way up there. So he says that going to the convention this year, are tickets available at the door, or should I get this beforehand? So I don't know which convention you're talking about. I'm assuming that you are talking about the one here in Louisiana that I'm going to be speaking at, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But as far as I know, yes, there are still tickets available, and if it's for the Abbey convention, there's still tickets available for that. I'm looking forward to January and headed up to Kentucky for that one, for sure. First year beekeeping, y'all have 8 hives already. You guys are all in. 3 boys, bees. Yeah, give them some work to do. Wow, Jeff, that's 73. That's nice temperature right there. John J., how are things at the Abbey? Fortunately, they're slowing down because with this heat, I'm glad they're slowing down. Look at that, Sidewalk Astronomy joining us live from the Netherlands. Look at that. And Lee from Kodiak Bee Farms. Good morning, buddy. Lee, me and Randy were talking about you during the week. I don't know what day it was, but anyway, I was bragging on your setup, your studio setup. Very, very much high grade compared to this little thing that I got going here. But so he and I were knocking around the idea that maybe you should invite us over there and we'll do a live chat over at your studio, because you all are you're so modern with your studio. Really, really nice. Steve Parker, 77 degrees in central Illinois. Supposed to hit 90. Yep. Everybody's under the heat, huh? Everybody, like, except for New Zealand. Thank you, Lee. I'm telling you. So I'm gonna talk with Randy because I think he really wants to come see your setup too. And for those that don't know who Lee is, Kodiak Farms, he goes on live. I think it's on Tuesday. Lee, is that right? You and Bob Walker from North Carolina, they go on live, and they have their own little bee channel talking about stuff. But his studio is just so impressive to sit in. Mike Barry, that's world famous Mike Barry. He and I went up to Lee's sometime last year and talked with him up there and had a great time visiting up there. In fact, I think, well, I know I've got it around here somewhere, Lee, your coffee mug. I don't see it up on the shelf. It must be hiding behind all the dust and all. Good morning, Philip. Can you explain what was bad in the thumbnail of your last video where you said this means things are going to get bad? Well, what I was showing in that was the dried up tassels from our tallow trees. So the tallow is our main honey source, nectar source for our bees. And when you see those dried up tassels, that means the dearth is about to start. And that's all I was showing with that. But since the picture, Charlie did such a good job shooting that picture of me holding those dried up tassels, I used that for the thumbnail on that video. Good morning, Karen. Great to have you this morning. 107 and in Central California. Oh my goodness. Jeez. Look at that. Terry From Wheelock's world, the devil is leaving hell. He'll moving to Texas. It's so hot here. Well, he'd have a lot of room to move around in everywhere because it's hot everywhere. JB Botha, good day from South Africa. Thank you for joining me this morning, JP. Thank you very much. Hey, Philip, I hope that was a little bit better explanation and hopefully that you can understand it. But that's really what it was. And if you saw, Philip, that I actually changed the thumbnail from the one that you saw originally, which was just the hive itself without any bees on it, but just showing the closeness of the comb and how tight all that space was. But the thumbnail, it's pretty important to get a good thumbnail in your videos, and it just wasn't doing the number for me, so I changed it to me holding up those dry tassels. James Owens, always a bright smile, happy man. I am out to put out pollen for the dearth. Good for you, James. Good for you, James. The our bees. It's surprising, even though we're in the dearth. And I was walking on the beehives 2 days ago, and it is just amazing to me what the pollen that the bees are bringing in right now. And in fact, the video that I post this Friday coming up, I show one of those sources that the bees are getting this from, and that's from our grass, from the grass that's growing right now. The tractor at the Abbey has been in the shop for the last 3 weeks, and they just got it back this week sometime. And man, the grass, as you will see if you look at that video coming up, the grass is just so high. It doesn't take long for grass to grow tall, but 3 weeks, man, it's going to get way out of hand. Mr. Ed, what setting do you put your bee fans on when it gets hot? Extra high, extra high. So you have those little bees are fanning their wings really hard. All right, so let's see if I'll take one more question, then I'm gonna start talking about what I put in the description of this video about what I want to talk to. Good morning, Hanley's Homestead. Good morning. Nice cool weather, 20 degrees and 20 feet, lowest 3 degrees. Man, that's cool. Red Dead and more. Good morning. It's pretty interesting that you see them flying in with pollen, and yet there's no nectar to come along with pollen. And for us, I know that we don't really have any nectar per se going on. They are still bringing some in, but not to. It's basically it is over for us. Good morning, Dr. Bruce. What a surprise! I read your reply. So Dr. Bruce made a comment on my last video saying that, and that was when the video was a removal, and it was just so nasty, gross with the honey just raining down on me. And Dr. Bruce made the comment that his wife was complaining about not complaining, but saying that the floors in her house were sticky. And I replied to her, I said, well, Dr. Bruce, you shouldn't be processing your honey. I think he's got, how many hives do you have? I think 8 or 12, something like that. And he was processing his honey in the kitchen. And I suppose he got all that honey all over. So I told him he needs to take her out to a nice restaurant in appreciation for cleaning up his mess. And I still can't believe that she allows him to process that honey in the kitchen. He's got a big shop, and he still processes the honey in the kitchen. Hey, good morning, Annette. Good morning. Thank you for joining. 75 in Omaha. Boy, that's pretty cool up there, Karen. but 94 your high. Yeah, and it's still, I'd be outside enjoying that 74. But our humidity right now is just brutal. It's, I mean, you go outside, I go outside, and within 10 minutes, my shirt is just soaking wet. It really, it's just bad. And then of course, here we are entering August. And for anybody living down south or out on the East Coast, August and September, not only are they bad months for bees, but they are also the most active time of year for hurricanes. And so I always am nervous in August, because typically at the end of August is when our August, end of August and beginning of September is when we really have to be sitting on the edge of our chairs, um, looking at the weather, seeing where these storms are coming and where they're going to. So I hope everybody stays safe this year, and, you know, praying and having our fingers crossed that we all escape any kind of tragedy that Mother Nature provides. Good morning, Honeybee Live. We're still cleaning up storm mess. At least our power is back on. And that was in and I think, Karen, I think that's in Houston. I think because Houston got hit with that really freak early hurricane, and Houston has been getting some very unusual weather all this year. So much rain, so much bad weather, and then they got the hurricane, and and I know Mona is from the Conroe area, which is 20 miles from Houston, and so all of her family is there, and her brother was out of electricity for like 8 or 9 days. So it's still a mess over there. Red Horse, you're not seeing anything. Well, that's always a good thing. What did the bee do? Terry, you always look. You don't have the end of the joke on it, Terry. 100-mile-an-hour winds in Omaha. In Omaha, oh my goodness! I thought you were in Houston, Karen. Well, that. So what? It was it tornado? Was it? It was just freak wind. What was that? I didn't hear anything on that one. All right. So while we're waiting for other comments, I wanna look at that, Deborah. Good morning. 100 degrees for the forecast in Montana. Holy cow! Well, I know, Deborah, you and Mike, you are probably one of the 8 citizens of Montana. So at least you don't have a lot of people out there to get that heat so absorbed up. Oh my, I couldn't. 100 degrees. I say that we were 101 yesterday. So at about it was 2:30 when I was going home. It was 101 on my car. So oh my gosh. So let me what did the bees say when the wasp made them mad? Buzz off. Oh, Terry, that's so funny. Uh, oh yeah, that's the good part. Your humidity, okay, Deborah, it's very low. So let me go on real quick. So on the 17th of this month, I took a road trip. I took a road trip to Texas, to Marshall, Texas specifically, and spoke to the Marshall, Texas Bee Club. And man, it was a great time. Their club invited me to go out there. I went out there and got to visit the Man Lake operation in Marshall, Texas, and then went and spoke to him that evening. And in appreciation for me speaking, they gave me a card, and look at this. Look at all the names that people signed this card, um, thanking me for showing up and talking. And I really had a great time out there. And I thank all of you all who signed the card, came up to me and spoke afterwards, and for also the people that when they came up and talked to me, they brought me They're honey labels. So let me turn that the right way. So this one is from Jimmy Middlebrooks, and let me get a better picture of that, Jimmy. And actually, I spoke in Canton, Texas, 2 years ago, and I met Jimmy there for the first time, and Jimmy gave me one of his labels this year, and check out this label. That's a big one. So thank you all for your labels. And since I'm on the label subject right now, there is, oh wait, plenty of room. Plenty. Hey, good morning, Laurie. Good morning. There's plenty of room, spaces available on the wall in the honey house so I can put your labels. So I'm asking if you would please send me your honey label from your jars so that I can stick it on the wall in the honey house. It really would be a great addition to have your label in that corner. And I'll do some updates on them as I go. And if you send me a letter, possibly I can actually read it when I go live sometimes. So I hope that you all will send me your label. And I got another one right here, and this one is from these. I actually got two this week. This one is from John Ruther from Hilton Head Island, North Carolina, and these are his honey labels. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful labels. So these will be going up on the wall, as well as this one right here from Papa's Bee, and he's in Conroe. I almost got to meet Papa's Bees when Mona was living in Texas, because he contacted me and asked if we could go out for lunch, and I just never had the time. It just didn't work out. So Papa, thank you for sending me your label, and for those wanting to send me a label, go to the description in this video, and I give you the address where you can send me your labels, and I will happily include them and put them on the wall of our honey house. Denny Ray's Bees. Good morning, Denny. Let's see, did I miss anybody? JP says, hurricane season by you and earthquakes by us. Good luck to you all. My God, our blessings are offered to you. Thank you, JP. Thank you very much. Look at that, Evan Hoffmeyer from South Africa as well. Good morning to you, Evan. And Evan is a new subscriber to my channel, and he doesn't miss one video. He watches every single one of them and comments on every one of them as well. So thank you for doing that, Evan. As thank all of you all that spend your time watching my videos and following along with what I do. I truly appreciate the time that everybody spends when they watch my videos, because if you think about it, our time is probably the most precious commodity that we have, because in truth, it's really the only thing that we own. And what we do, how we use it, that is a gift. And so anytime somebody chooses to watch my videos, I really feel honored that you would spend your time watching my videos. And I'm so appreciative of you doing that. So thank all of you all for giving me your time to follow along and just have a little fun, because that's really what I like doing. Kirby says, is it possible to order honey products from the Abbey online? I don't live in your state, but wanted to try your honey ever since I subscribed years ago. All right, so that's another great question. In the description of this video, I post all the details of how you can order some of our Abbey honey. And just by chance, no, not by chance, I planned it. I brought some of this year's honey. Look at this. It is some, let's see if I can get the good light on it. Look at that beautiful stuff. Man, oh man. So here it is. our Abbee Honey. Try to get that just straight. There you go. And the only way that you can order this is online, but from me. So you have to actually contact me by email or by letter and ask for the honey. Now all the details of that's in the it's in the description. But I don't have any here. I use a 16-ounce plastic bottle because I ship it in plastic, even though we sell it in the gift shop in glass. I don't send it in the mail in the glass because I used to work at the post office, and those guys, they don't really respect anything. So I'm going to send it in plastic. There's a better chance of it arriving undamaged. So I sell it in a 1-pound plastic container. It's $12 for a 1-pound bottle, and it costs $10 to ship it. But if you want 2 bottles of it, it's still $10 to ship it because I can get 2 bottles in one of those flat rate containers. So the shipping price is still going to be $10 whether you get 1 bottle or 2 bottles. And then if you want more than that, well, sometimes it is generally cheaper. The shipping is cheaper the more bottles you get because you can get more bottles in the box. But anyway, if you'd like to some of our honey, I'd be more than happy to send it to you. Just go to the description in this video, and all the details of how to do that are in there. So Richard Biner says, did the Robinson family take honeybees when they got lost in space? I doubt it, because like the robot says, danger, danger, Will, danger, danger. Don Bearden says it's 81 degrees with 82% humidity. I bet you we're hotter and higher humidity than you, Don. Dennis Borning. Good morning, Dennis. And thank you for joining me this morning. So that was the details on the honey. Now you see, now I don't remember. The other thing, and I know I talked about it already, but as far as any speaking engagements, that hey Bob, I already talked about you and Lee in your show. So good morning, Bob, and thank you for joining me. On August, oh yeah, I think I did say this, but let me repeat it again. On August 23rd and 24th, I will be one of the keynote speakers at the Louisiana State Beekeepers Association conference in Pineville, Louisiana. Now, like I said, I'm one of them, and you ain't gonna believe who the other keynote speaker is. Kamon Reynolds. So Kamon and I are gonna be tag teaming up there. I don't know what the whole scenario is, but I can tell you when Kamon and I do get together, it's almost as much fun as when me and the Dirt Rooster get together, because that guy is nothing but a bundle of making fun of me. So I appreciate when me and Kamon get together. It's not very often. I think the last time we were together was up in Quincy, Illinois. I think that was the last place that Kamon and I were together. But every time Kamon and I get together, it's always going to be a good time. So it should be a pretty good draw for the conference that he and I are the keynote speakers. I don't know all the details of how many times we're going to speaking or who the other speakers are going to be or vendors, but it's a 2-day conference. And one of the things I know for sure that's part of it is there is going to be a memorial service type of service for Jennifer Brown, one of the past presidents of the state association, as well as a very, very active member of the state association and a mover on things getting done for beekeepers in Louisiana. So Jennifer passed away a year ago, and they will be remembering her at the conference. So that's one of the reasons another one of the reasons that I will be going, because Jennifer and I were very, very close. Concerned RN from Central Coast of California. Good morning, Concerned. So Kamon and I will be in Louisiana conference. That's on the 23rd and 24th, and I know there's lots of tickets available for that. I don't know the accommodations. I know that the event is being held at the Town and Country Inn in Pineville, and I'm sure when you go online you can make reservations. And I think all the way up until the 8th of August that there are discounts if you are attending the conference. So that being said, let's see, was there anything else that's on my desk that needs to be talked about? No. Hey, I will, Mr. Ed, what ailment do bees get when they have little red bumps all over them? Beehives. Joy Mott, good morning from sunny Riverside, California. Good morning, Joy, and thank you so much for joining me this morning. Energy Egg, hello, and thank you for joining me this morning. Tom, where are you all? Let's see. Good morning, Jeff. Sunny and hot here in Western Montana. Now, my buddy Deborah, she's in Montana, and she said it was 74 there right now, I think she said. And it was going to go up to 100 today, but humidity was in the teens. So how soon before you and Trish make your way on back down? Because you got to stop in and check in on me, right? Great to hear from you, Tom. God bless you, brother. Scott Beavers. Hey, Mr. Ed. What do you do about wax moths? They are the biggest pain for me here in North Carolina. In the video that I post this Friday, I go in the back and I do an update on that video that Charlie and I did from that house on the river. And when I'm back there, I'm walking around and I had 2 hives dead out, and I'd been back there just not even a week. Well, maybe it's a 8 days, 9 days at the most prior to that. I'd gone back there and looked, and there were bees in there, but maybe it was robber bees going on. And I went back there on one day this week, whenever I did that, and I had 2 dead outs. And both of them, boy, the wax moth were just, it was terrible. And generally what I like doing when I get hives that have wax moth, I just bring them to the chickens and just let the chickens clean them out, because they do such a good job. The only problem with giving the hives, the frames to the chickens, they destroy. There is no salvaging anything once the chickens get to it, because they get dirt all up in it. It's just destroyed. However, they also take care of any hive beetles, any wax moth. They just pick it clean. There is nothing there. So there's really, I can't do anything about it other than give the frames, the boxes, to the chickens. Now, what I did when I was out in the back, because I didn't have, I couldn't bring them back up to the front, I just flip them up on the side, let daylight pass through there, and they don't like that. They don't like the daylight, and hopefully any bees or any ants or anything get in there at that point, kill the larva. I don't know if they do that, but I do that, and then I'll come back a week or so later and then bring those boxes back in and knock them out, because they're basically trash anyway. So I really should have just given them to the chickens, but I was shooting the video. I didn't have the time to do it, so they just stayed out back there. Gary Stewart, man, Gary, that was a awesome story. Gary sent a comment in I think it was the last video, I think, Gary, where he did a removal on I think it was a 2-story, might have been a 3-story house, but there were no breaks between the first and second story, and the bees not only had gone up the wall space on the first floor, they went into the second floor and then went on the other direction along the joy space, 3 feet the other way. So they went up, he said 12 feet one way and 3 feet the other. And he got, I think he said 10 gallons of honey from that removal. You should have videoed that, because that is something else. So concerned RN, what is BT? Bacillus thuringiensis. I don't even know what that is. Be gone, huh? Terry. How many new frames, boxes do you have to get each year versus how many you salvage and reuse? That number always depends. This year, I as the spring was developing and our hives were just blowing up, they were just blowing up tremendously fast. I actually ran out of equipment. Initially, I had ordered 1,000 frames, and that's generally what I order each year to do our honey supers. Well, this year, because our honey crop last year was so dismal, I didn't have any drawn comb to put on our bees for my splits. So any of the boxes that I had drawn comb for, they went on developing brood, and I used all of those up. And so the frames, 1,000 frames that I got, which are heavily waxed, I threw those on for brood development. Then I ran out of those. I had to order an additional 1,000 frames for the rest of my brood development and for my honey production. I went through those 1,000 frames in about 3 weeks. I was out of those. And then I ordered, believe it or not, I think it was another 300 frames. So I ordered 2,300 frames this year, 2,300 frames and 85 boxes that I had. And out of that 2,300 frames, they drew out over 1,600 frames. They drew out comb on those. This was our best ever year of comb development. And it was strictly because it was so early in the year that our bees were bringing in tremendous amounts of nectar. They could draw out this comb, because I do not feed our bees. One of the best ways to get them to draw comb is to feed them. Well, I don't feed them. They have to rely solely on what nature is producing. And our bees, because we had so many bees so early on in the spring, they drew out 1,600 frames. And our operation is not that big. I had, going into this year, I had 113 hives. When I started in January, it was 113 hives. By the time I was finished our splits, we had gone up to 220, right around 220. And I was just out of everything. I had no bottom boards, no screen. I had nothing. I built extra bottom boards. I built extra inner covers. I had some telescoping covers that needed lids put on them. Got those done. I was scrambling this year. So, and then as it turned out, I was thinking, man, we're going to have this awesome honey crop. And then our tallow, it was a weird year for tallow. It was terrible last year. Everything died in the frost, that freak frost that we got. And this year, I think it still suffered from the effects of that, that when the tallow would bloom, it bloomed dry. It almost like when you would run your hand through it, there was no moisture on it at all. And it bloomed and it started drying up almost immediately. Now, we did get some nectar from that, but basically our our honey this year, which is, there you go, that beautiful honey right there, is it's mostly spring honey. There is some tallow in it, but it's mostly spring. We had our privet was exceptional, as well as our blackberries, blueberries, and we have two of our yards are in on blueberry farms. So both of those yards produced a tremendous amount of honey for us, as well as one of our other yards, our St. Michael yard. Um, we probably pulled. I'm trying to think, at least 35 boxes of honey off of that yard. It was a great year. In fact, that yard, it's finally like hit the peak. It's in its stride right now. It struggled for a number of years, and now it's off and running, and it probably is going to be our most um, productive yard um, in all of our yards, because we right now I've probably got close to 60 hives out there, and I am going to be selling some of those bees because I that's too many, and I don't want that many come springtime. I wouldn't mind getting back up to 60 out there, but in that case, I've got 20 or 30 of them to still sell to get rid of. So they will be sold. Look at that, Robert Hilliard from Denton, Texas. So Robert made the trip from Denton to Marshall, Texas, which is about, I think he said, a 2-hour ride. He drove from Denton to Marshall, and I actually met Robert, who is also not only a subscriber but a member of the channel. So, Robert, thank you for making that trip, and good morning. And he does Texas bush popper bees. That's his channel, or what he goes by. Thank you, concern. I'm gonna read your comments later to because I want to, man, if there was some kind of, I still like giving the wax moth larva to the chickens, because it's so much fun watching them eat it. In fact, and I've showed this on one of my videos, I don't know, a couple of months ago, where I walk out into the field where the chickens are, and they know me now. They see when I'm coming, and if I've got frames, you can see them running from across the yard. They're just charging because they know it's food time. And I start calling, chick, 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 chick. Well, they start running, and I throw the frames out onto the same area that I always throw on, and they are just getting to them. So I love seeing the chickens eat the maggots. Now, I got an email this week from, oh, I can't remember his name, but he I think his name was Benton, because he calls it Benton's Brigade, and he's got all his chickens doing the same thing, but they're attacking the hive beetles. So chickens are great. They really are. And I'm glad that they're right there where I have access to them. Mr. Ed, why did the queen bee put on earmuffs? The worker bees were droning on. And so, Terry, where are you getting these jokes? Because really, that's like, they're getting worse and worse. Iorna C, thank you for the videos. Oh, and thank you very much for watching. Good morning, Tar Heel Beekeeper and Easy Reader. Look at that. Y'all join us again. So these two guys, Tar Heel Beekeeper and Easy Reader. These are members to the channel because they were gifted by another member, Phil, or Teabag, as he goes by, last month. So I hope you guys enjoyed the benefits of being a member. And even though they're really not that many, subscribing to the channel is like, to me, it is as good as it gets. Anything more than that, being a member, that's just lagniappe, and I appreciate that as well. But man, I appreciate every one of you that watches, subscribes to the channel. It's just such a blessing that you give to me. Now, if we get more people to hit that thumbs up, so that the videos get a little bit more attention from the what do you call those things? The analytics. Man, that would be great. Yeah. So look, while I was seeing it right now, why don't you go to that little thumbs up underneath the video and click it? That would help me out a lot. So thank you so much. Here, what's scary? I follow your videos and hope you keep making them. Would love to be able to actually come and see the Abbey, though. Well, if with your wrangling skills, you're more than welcome to come on down here and and do a wrangling with me and Charlie and whoever. So you're more than welcome, Gary. Oh, Annette, God bless you. Thank you so much. So Annette, one of my long time followers, subscribers, members. In fact, I keep saying it all the time, Annette. Look, so Annette sent this little work of art to me a few years back, and it's still hanging on the wall. So thank you, Annette, for all you do for me. It's always greatly appreciated. Look at that, Merlin the Wizard. Larry, don't you have anything better to do than get up and watch me on a Saturday morning? Smoking Joe, good morning. You're from New Jersey Shore. And Eoners, Lenore, I can't pronounce that, from Bedminster, New Jersey. Another one from New Jersey. Tony and Liz L. from the UK, good morning, and thank you for joining me this morning. Danette and Jack Struna. and where are you guys from? I don't think it's in the continental states. I don't think it is. But good morning and thank you for joining me. Let's see, what else do I have to say? Man, we've only been on for 46 minutes. That ain't bad. Let's see. Come on, let's ask Mr. Ed some questions because my mind is going blank. Steve Butler, are you going to be in Texas anytime this year? Other than that, the engagement in Marshall, Texas, I don't think so. But you never can tell because I got lots of good friends in Texas, and in fact, one of my buddies who lives in the Conroe area, he's a beekeeper and a bee wrangler, and he's invited me out there to wrangle bees with him, and we may be doing that. When I spoke in Conroe, I think that was the year before last, he and I were supposed to do a removal at that point, and it was way too hot, and so we never did it. Wyoming. Oh, well, I thought you might have been out of the country, but Wyoming is right here. You do y'all have bees out there? Randall Jarnigan from Pine Grove Apiary in Graceville, Florida. Hey, I don't know how far Graceville is from West Palm Beach, but I know already that November of next year, I will be speaking in West Palm Beach. So maybe y'all can look to that. Michael Bino, Central Florida Bee Manager. Hi to you and Charlie. Thank you. Good morning to you too, Michael. Have you been having rain like we in Georgia? No, we've not been having a lot of rain. It's dry out there. And in a way, I'm not too sorry, but we could always use a little bit of rain right now. Do bees build cone in certain direction, like north, south, east, west, or by latitude or longitude? That's a question I really don't know because an answer to I don't know because I think it has more to do with the orientation of the space that the bees decide to build a hive in, the comb in, because I see it in every direction imaginable, north, south, east, west. So I don't know. There may be something to it, but I really couldn't say for sure. Wow, 70 colonies. You guys are rocking and rolling. Wow. Pete Grigley. I also don't treat my bees up north here. I do have a question. What trait do you feel is most important for being treatment free? Um, you know, I think there may be too much emphasis on traits or genetic uh, qualities of bees. My whole philosophy on beekeeping is very minimalist, and as such, I don't have much interaction with the bees once I set them up in the hives. So if there is um, a trait that I feel is um, important in bees, one of them would be cleanliness. Whether the bees are hygienic, that they are able to clean their hives, keep their hive clean, because that's very important in hive management, is having a clean hive. If the hive is clean, uh, it's easier for the bees to patrol it, to keep it clean. So some bees don't have that particular trait, and generally they're the ones that are going to peter off anyway, and that's fine. The other one is, you definitely want a queen that is productive. You want a queen that is a strong layer, and because that's how you keep a hive um, strong, is by having a number of bees in it to maintain it, to be able to stave attacks from other bees, to help reduce loads of other insects attacks. So number of bees is a great thing, and so I don't really put a lot of emphasis on genetic qualities, but those particular traits, I do find that hives that possess them do live longer, and ideally, we all want our bees to have that ability to survive over a period of years. And if they do that, man, that's great. But remember, bees die. That's just part of their nature. They aren't designed, just like us. They're not designed to live forever. Darlene at Three Visions Farm. Big love and gratitude from Yelm, WA. I don't know where WA is. I'm terrible with geography. The bees are going strong in blackberries. Oh, yeah, ours did awesome this year. And Darlene, thank you so much for joining us this morning. When you feed them sugar water, do you give them cane versus bee? So I don't feed bees sugar water. If I feed bees, and it's generally the only bees I feed are bees that are I do from cutouts or swarm captures, I give them honey. I don't feed them sugar water. Uh, I always have honey, and so I feed them honey for a short period of time. I don't continually feed them. They got to do that on their own. Hey, Mr. Ed, can we G? Is that go? Brian Bennett. Good morning, Brian. And Brian, thanks for all the comments that you leave when you watch the video. I do appreciate reading. Can we get some sugarless honey? No, you can't. Terry, good morning, Terry. Terry is up in Maine. Terry, what's your temperature right now up there? And I forgot what part of Maine, but I know it's cold where Terry lives when it does get cold, because one of the first pictures Terry sent me was his beehives, and there was 3 foot of snow stacked on top of it. Right now, 78 degrees. And what part of Maine is that, Terry? Thank you, Brian. Come on, Terry. I'm waiting for you to type it. Thank you, Pete. Edward, good morning from Arkansas. What part of Arkansas, Edward? Man, that's like one of my favorite states to go visit. In fact, we're at the Arkansas Adventure, guys. We're planning on going back up to the White River up there by Bull Shoals next Central Maine. Thank you, Terry. Um, uh, Guilford, Maine. I hope I said that right. Guil Ford, Guilford, Maine. Guilford, Maine. So we'll be headed up. It's around the Flippin area that we go, man, and I'm already looking forward to it. So we do uh, at least two fishing trips a year. One of them is just a day trip. Like this year in October, we're going to be taking a trip out to the Shandy Islands, right off the coast of Mississippi, Louisiana, and do a day trip out there. And then in it'll be in May around Memorial Day. We'll be heading up to Arkansas and spend 4 or 5 days up there on the White River catching browns and rainbows. Ooh. And who knows, we might go for some smallmouth too. Go to some of the parks and fish there. Holiday is that by Holiday Island by Eureka Springs? Is that where it is, Edward? Oh, look who is joining us, folks. It's the 628 Dirt Rooster Bees. Mr. Ed, it's too early to be so cheerful. What's wrong with you? Well, what's wrong with me is that my morning begins at 3:30. You know that. So this is like almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon for me. My day is almost over. So Randy was doing, well, that was the day before yesterday. Randy called me at 8 o'clock. I had my phone going into the bedroom, going to bed. And he calls, he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "It's time for bed." And he goes, and I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "Me and Pete, we just finished a cutout 8 o'clock at night." And he's doing a cutout. And I said, "Dude, at 8 o'clock, y'all got a lot of time left to do. Y'all gonna do another one?" He goes, "No, we're gonna go and get something to eat and see what happens." 8 o'clock at night, and he's doing cutouts. I never did get that. But that's look at all them people who know you. So easy reader. Oh wait. So look, I'm lost. I just see Danette and Jack. They know you, and Tar Heel Beekeeper knows you, Randy. And look at that, Gary Stewart as well, and Richard Binder. All right, Randy, time for you to go. So I saw a question. Do you ever have problems with predators getting into your hives? Now, I don't even, in all the years I've been keeping bees down here, I've never even had a mouse get into our hive. Now, if I have a hive in the back opened up where I'm letting the bees clean out, I will have raccoons or possums. They'll go and tear up the comb. But other than that, nah, we don't really have problems, thankfully. But I know, man, blackberry, they got them here in Louisiana, but fortunately not here. Icon, good morning to you. Who's this 628 Dirt Rooster guy? That's a really good question, Lee. I don't know. Good morning, Miriam. Yeah, I believe you're correct, Miriam. I believe that the fact that none of these bees belong to me, that they belong to the monks, that they have a little extra protection with God on their side. Look at Hey, Randy, you see how many people are telling you good morning? So I love your comment, Raman. Clean out the back of your truck. If Randy cleaned out the bottom of his truck, he probably would. He probably can't, because that's what's holding all the stuff inside of it, because the bottom of the truck is probably rusted out. Red Dead and more. About the sugar water. Some people told me 1 liter plus 1 kilo sugar, but where I bought my bees told me just fill up the jar with sugar, then add water until full. That is a great mixture. It's a really thick one, and the bees will draw comb with that one. I do know that. From upstate New York. Good morning, Lynn. Now, most of you all know that Randy and I do the swarm competition every year. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the Dirt Rooster beat the pants off of me this year. For the first time, he just smoked me. In fact, I got so disgusted with it that I threw in the towel probably about, oh, it's got to be about 6 or 8 weeks ago, because I didn't have time during the spring. I did not. My bees were keeping me so busy. I did not have time to go fool with swarms, and neither does Randy. But Randy gets a lot more swarm calls than I do, and he was just smoking me. In fact, he sent me a picture not 2 or 3 days ago about the latest. I'm gonna look it up right now. The latest swarm that he sent to me, and I can't remember the date of it. Let's see, Wednesday, July 24th, and it's a picture of a swarm in a cedar tree, and he sent me this picture because that's part of the deal that that we have to have our face in the picture. He didn't do it on this one, but I know he's not lying. He usually does, but uh, this swarm right here, I think one of the reasons he didn't want to put his picture in it, face in it, because his head would have been 3 times the size of that swarm. No doubt that swarm was about that big. If it was in July, it was about that big, and he just didn't want to get me give perspective to it. So, but it's still a swarm. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Randy is over 30 swarms this year. How many did you catch, Randy? But I think it was over 30, and I stopped mine at 19. He beat me good. Now we have somebody from India. Good morning. You see that? He got another call 5 minutes ago. He just doesn't want to beat me bad. He wants to beat me really bad. So I guess he'll be bragging about that when we go up to the Nabi this year in January, because our contest actually runs from January 1st to January 1st. So it'll be January the 2nd at Nabi. So it will be officially be over. So he will have a tally for his, as well as I will have mine. But I'm not going to be talking about mine because it's pitiful. But he's still trying to get another one in on me. Randy, what are you going to be doing later on today? I know yesterday you told me you did have a removal, and I think it was a swarm at a Lowe's in New Orleans, I think you said. From Rock Hill, South Carolina, Austin Payne. Good morning. The Rooster says I have to brag about that. It's all he's got. The Dead Rooster's got a lot to brag about. And for any of you all who were fortunate enough or are fortunate enough to get to see Randy talk, it's a hoot. Now, the other day I got him really good because I called him up and I said, Randy, did you go and look at Kamon's website, on the Nabi website, and see how many times you got to speak? He goes, no, what are you talking about? And he said, man, he's got you down listed that you're going to be speaking 4 different times. And he goes, 4 times? I can't speak 4 times. And I said, how are you feeling right now? I said, man, my stomach is turning over. I don't know if I can do this 4 times. And so I kept him going for about 20 minutes before I told him, I said, nah, Randy, he didn't say how many times you're speaking. I was just lying to you. and he goes, oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. But Randy and I got to speak together in North Carolina back in the summer. Man, that was an awesome conference. And man, that North Carolina crew. In fact, world famous Mike Berry just spoke there just a few weeks ago for their summer conference. We were at their spring conference, and that North Carolina Beekeepers Association, they are cutting edge group of folks. They have got it really going on. In fact, they are in cahoots with Georgia as well as Florida and South Carolina as well. All four of those state associations work together and in union with each other, and they get some magnificent things done. So I can't remember his last name, but the president of the Beekeeper, Bob. But anyway, those guys are really great guys and great memberships, and I can't speak their praises enough. And hopefully, I hope other state associations will look to the North Carolina Association to get ideas and inspiration on how to direct their members, the people that are members to the state associations in those states, because the North Carolina guys are right there. Good morning, DCBs. Good morning. Look at that, Randy. You got all kind of people. So you're helping Jake put headers on his truck. So you're helping Jake with headers on your truck, but why didn't Jake help you with your air conditioner? I don't get that. Poor Randy's air conditioner went out, and he was suffering for a day. But at least him and Elizabeth were suffering for a day. But thankfully, he's got all that problem worked out. All right, let's see. We've been on for an hour and 6 minutes. Let's go for another. We'll go for another 20 minutes, and then I got lots more stuff I can be doing today. So questions, come on. What questions do you have for me, Lee? I know you know everybody, Lee. Lee is like Randy. He's just knows all the people on YouTube. You must follow everybody's channel, Lee. Hey, and why aren't you at work today? Or you're on one of your breaks from your 7-day-a-week work schedule? And Lee's got a great job. He's a heavy crane operator. So he operates those big cranes on buildings and does all kind of cool stuff like that. So, all right, so we got dead air, and this. I hope y'all gonna ask a question. All right, so I got to think of something else. Oh, you got 5-10 days. Those I used to work 4-day 10 hours. That's a nice schedule. It's a beautiful morning. And where are you, Ron? K-Cap? Where is that? It's your favorite to have on a cutout. Okay, I don't know. Look at that, Philip Duncan. I've been knowing Philip for a long time. In fact, Philip actually, when I was building our house here in Abbee Springs, Philip and his wife drove from Kentucky, and they came down. But it wasn't just to see us, but they came down and saw us. So good morning, Philip, and thank you for joining us. Do you sell your hive tool or prying boxes apart? No, the shank is not for sale, but I know that they do sell them, because when we were at that North Carolina conference, there was a vendor selling them. So they are available somewhere on the market. And I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to talk to somebody this year when I go to NABI about maybe him taking that idea and going, because he probably will be interested. I don't want to say anything about it other than it may be something in the future. Who is the eldest beekeeper you know? I want to keep as long as possible. So the oldest one that I know is, I actually, well, I've been knowing Mr. Bentley for a long time. I'm trying to find his card right here. And I can't remember. I can't remember his first name, but it's Mr. Bentley, and he lives in Texas, and I think he just turned 93. I think is how old he is, and he still drives. He still keeps bees. In fact, um, he keeps his bees in the carport area of his house. I'm sure he has other bees, but because of that, he doesn't get a lot of visitors. But uh, he's the oldest beekeeper that I know is Mr. Bentley. 93 years old. Do you ever have to do removals from businesses, or you just do? No, I do them from businesses as well. I'm trying to think the last one. I did one recently. It's not just, I don't remember. Was thinking about attending the conference this year down south. Any recommendations on place to stay that don't break the bank? Um, I really don't know the the costs of the hotels, but like I said earlier, the conference, the Louisiana State Conference, is going to be held at the Town and Country Inn in Pineville, and they are offering discounts right now. I think till August the 8th, and I don't know what the discounts are, but they are offering them to those attending the conference if you use the discount code. So go to the Louisiana State Bee Conference website, and they can direct you to the accommodations, and there you'll be able to find out that information. Do you put out water for the bees during dry season? We have so many ponds right here on the Abbey property, uh, as well as gardens and feeders, that the bees have plenty of access to water all around here. So no, I do not put water out for the bees. I really don't do a lot for our bees. We use honey as an ingredient in solid rocket motors. Looking forward to seeing you again in Louisville. Me too, Philip. It's going to be an awesome time. When I was talking to Randy about it this week, man, he and I both are looking forward to um, going there and attending and seeing so many beekeepers all under one roof. It is by far the greatest beekeeping show that I have ever been to, and probably ever will be to. Um, uh, and Kamon is saying that it's going to even be bigger than last year. And I think last year there were 3,000 attendees there. The location of it, that 3,000, it could handle probably twice that without even blinking. It's just a great venue area to do it in. So I'm looking forward to it as well. Michael, is there a national honey flow chart? I know there's a honey color chart. I don't know about a flow chart, and I really don't even know what you're asking for in that question. But I know in the honey house we have a color wheel that is supposed to, by judging by the color that your honey is, comparing it to that color on that wheel, you can guess at what kind of a nectar source that it was that the bees were getting the nectar from. Hey Lee, it's great having you join us this morning. Thank you so much. And you'll be hearing from me real soon. You will be. Thank you for coming by this morning, Lee. Swarmstead Bees and Garden. Good morning. Wow. Lots of people joining us this morning. And thank y'all so much for doing it. And I know everybody's got stuff to do on Saturday. And again, I thank you all for spending the little time this morning with me on that. Uh, you know, it's been an hour and 15 minutes, and I think we might just go ahead and wrap it up. Uh, I don't have any more to say other than again reminder that um, Kamon and I will be speaking at the Louisiana State Conference in Pineville, Louisiana, on August 23rd and 24th of this month. If you're interested in getting some of our beautiful and great tasting Abbee Honey, the way you can do that is in the description of this video. You go to the description of the video and it'll have the information how to get to that. And I'd love for you to send me your labels from your honey bottles. So please send me your labels, and the address that you can send them to is also in the description of the video. So Randy's got to go back to helping Jake put the headers on his truck, and I'm out of here until the next one. So thanks for watching. Keep on watching, and I'll be making more. God bless. Mr. Ed, I am out of here until the next video. Bye now.